Welcome, welcome, welcome. Liam Murphy back to start off this week with some underdog drafts for the $200,000 top prize. We were doing 3 drafts at a time last week. That was not enough. It is April. I got to get some volume in, so we'll be doing 5 drafts today. 5 different drafts to give you guys a taste of what that looks like. Let's get it, team. So it is April, as we said. Things are getting real. We're going to talk through the Rashee Rice situation. I am doing 5 drafts at the same time. So if you've been wanting to draft with me, now is the time to do so. I poured a double cup of coffee, so I am all set. And let me get this pulled up here. My last draft. Our first draft has already started. Yeah, real quick, I'll talk through what we know about Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice, of course, star wide receiver for the Chiefs. His ADP had been at the 2-3 turn, so in the 22s. He is falling, obviously. He's all the way down to 27, meaning he's even further below that, and that's just where his ADP is settling because it can't update fast enough for what's happening. We pulled the 102 here. We'll just take CeeDee Lamb, keep it moving. There are 4 more drafts to fill, by the way. What's up, Bindles? 5 drafts, 2 coffees. You got it proper. It's April, man. We are less than 24 days until the draft kicks off, I believe. April 25th. So it's going to be a busy month for me. I'll be drafting a lot. I'll be writing a lot of articles to get ready for my site to launch. I already have a bunch of articles in the queue in my mind. I've been thinking through my rankings. The rankings to help the people win these tournaments, especially the early ADP. That's going to be, people signing up in May. We're going to have that ADP ready to manipulate that contest. But yeah, so Rashee Rice was caught. I'm not going to pull up the video. There is a video on Twitter if you want to find it, but he was caught drag racing, I guess I would say. Ooh, 102 and the 101. Look at us. And so he was racing his car like a jackass around, 6 p.m. Eastern or something like that. I think it was in Nevada. Irrelevant. But him and some other guy crashed their car, and then they both fled the scene. Thankfully, to my knowledge, no one got seriously hurt. They seems to be minor injuries treated at the scene, minor injuries in the hospital as well. Okay, so that's what we know. Personally, I thought Rice was a little overpriced already at that 2-3 turn. If I knew he was the Chiefs' top pass catcher, I'd be in, right? Like, I liked what I saw from him playing football last year. We're going to go CMC here. I don't have a lot of CMC teams. Might as well go. CMC, a little bit riskier than people would admit at the 101, but you can't always draft for safety at the top of the drafts. Anyways, yeah, so I thought Rashee Rice already was a little risky of a pick there. You still got Travis Kelce. They've added Hollywood Brown. They might add someone in the draft. He's kind of like a volume reception yak guy, which can get touchdowns, right? He gets thrown touchdowns in the end zone. Pacheco's still there. So I wasn't too into his price already. I don't think I'll be drafting him at all until we hear about the legal situation. I mean, don't get me wrong. If he falls into, I guess, like after the Amari Cooper range, so like pick 50 ish, I think that's a fine gamble to start making. Um, I'm not sure he will, though, because, since I run a Discord, link to join is below in the YouTube description. Um, and just being a person on Twitter, I get a lot of different, I see a lot of different opinions. And I've heard people comp this to the Tyreek Hill situation, the Alvin Kamara situation, aka players who have had legal troubles, but whatever. Or I've heard it comp to Jordan Addison and Hollywood Brown, who both got caught recklessly driving. Now, I personally think this is a little different. Number one, there's a video, and the video is pretty fucking damning, where they're driving like assholes, and then they crash, and then they run away from the scene. Like they don't know, they could have killed people, and they just fled the scene. Maybe because maybe they had alcohol in their system or drugs or whatever, and they figured, you know what, fleeing the scene is not as bad as getting caught for drunk driving or having drugs or guns or who knows. It's obviously speculation. Let's go Diggs with CD here. That feels like a great start. One more person for our third draft, by the way. So, anyways, there's a video, and he fled the scene. So that is immediately a little bit different than my memory of the Jordan Addison and the Hollywood Brown races. And, it's a little bit close. Ooh, so we went 101, we went 102, 101, and then 101. Look at us, guys. Look at April's our month. We're drafting winners. We're going to draft our BBM5 team in April. Might just draft a $5 million team or whatever first place prize is there. Take out the hats because the conspiracies are on. Okay, so Saquon's fallen really far here. I don't have a lot of Saquon, and he used to be this cheap, but seems fine as an anchor. 10 picks past ADP here. Yeah, so we got Lamb, Diggs, Saquon start. Pretty fun. Kind of want to get weird at this one because we did the CMC thing, we did the CD Lamb thing. It's a weird player here. Still Kyron Williams. We want a player who almost never goes at the 1-2 turn for combo purposes. This player is almost always a 1-2 turn player. So if you think back to last year, and this is probably going to be some system, what I'm saying is going to be an article, but if you think back to last year, this is like if you had done this with CD Lamb, aka you took CD Lamb at the 101, well, now you gave yourself a chance to win the contest because you needed CD Lamb week 17, and he almost always went at the 1-2 turn. So you're getting a unique combo. So it's really, if Kyron is the guy we need, how does the 2-3 turn guys compete versus the 2-3, the guys over here? So giving you a different flavor of everything here. Let's go Debo with CMC. So we're getting a 49ers thing going here. And let's go Josh Jacobs. Josh was cheaper. I wasn't doing a lot of drafts back then, so I don't know if he ever fell to 4 or 5, but reaching on players who yeah, Preston, this is going to be a knee-jerk reaction for a lot of people. Like, oh, you can't go Kyron over CMC. You can never do that. And, I don't think you're understanding the game theory of how to play these if that's your take, right? Obviously, if everyone stays healthy, well, CMC probably outscores Kyron, but it's football. CMC, he's got a lot of touches. And what we saw from Kyron last year, if he's just that again, he's in the mix for the 101. So you want to reach on players who, like the Mosterts of last year. If you reached on a Mostert, it was beneficial for multiple reasons. Again, this is going to be an article I've been mulling around. The worst thing that happens when you draft a Mostert is you draft him at ADP. Reason being is they crush. They don't do that hot in the playoffs, so they're more of a get you there than a win the contest. So when you have a guy that crushes for advance rates, you want to reach on that player so that you have a uniquer team for the playoffs, right? You want a Mostert to help you advance a unique combo of players. Cal goes, passing on Josh Allen, and this guy calls him a Bills fan. I've drafted a lot of Josh Allen, and Al goes, maybe Al's drafted with me. He goes, this man has taken Josh Allen. Yes, Paul, you could definitely apply this concept of reaching, tactical reaching at certain parts. I also, yeah, I quite like to do it at the top of the draft, and then you can kind of just draft normal, right? You don't have to reach every single pick, and you don't want to, right? Like another player who I think is reachable, and again, we're going to have an article on this at the 1-2 turn, is a guy like Steph Diggs. This is a player who almost always goes at the 2-3 turn. We know he has big years in his range of outcomes where he could pay off this price. And if he has a big year and or scores well week 17, well, now you've given yourself a unique combo to win. Grant saying, would you say you only want one of these per draft? Well, keep in mind, I'm doing 5 drafts right now. By the way, we still need some players for these next 2. But, and this is not exactly what you're asking, but just to give an example of like what you wouldn't want to do. Okay, so we got Kyron here. And with Kyron, let's go Debo. So we're getting that division stack. And let's go Metcalf too. Just for that division. All right, pick 47. Jalen Hurts should just not be there. So this is a slam dunk pick for me. Even with the QB prices. And maybe it could be argued that DK Metcalf was not the best pick here. Just because he pairs so often with Kyron here. Right? So like let's say Kyron at the 1-2 turn is paired with, I don't know. Let's say he's paired with Devonta Smith, Jalen Hurts, Cooper Kupp, like often, like very, very often. Well, then those are players you would not want to reach again on because now you're making those stacks with only one unique player. It's kind of tough because like even DJ Moore's reached on sometimes here. So I wasn't really clear on how to get unique for my second pick, but honestly, just going this division in this way is going to be unique as well. And this is not something we're doing every draft. Some drafts we are just drafting by ADP, but we did it this time. Okay. Let's go with Zay. I like the tight ends from an advance rate perspective and win the contest perspective, but I really like Zay's just spike week ability to give us a big week. We need 5 more people for this last draft, and then we're ripping 5 at a time. Yeah, so to finish the Rashee Rice take, MVP Sports saying he's done. What pick are we at here? 48. Yeah, we'll take T. And Amari Cooper. And in here, let's go Jamar Chase. So we pulled a 102, 101, 101, 103. Look at us. Why are you guys even drafting? Underdog is just spooning me over here. But yeah, to finish the take on Rashee Rice, now that we have some downtime. By the way, if you multi-table on desktop like me, pro tip, I always say this, but do not leave the draft board up, and then it will count down your picks here. I mean, the man could be going to jail for some time. He didn't kill anyone, so kind of got lucky there. Obviously, got very lucky. But still, I think it's pretty damning with the video, the running away from the scene. I could see him being made a example of. I mean, and he should be, right? Like you should not be able to drive like a jackass, endanger people's lives, and then just flee the scene and get off scot-free. That should not how our legal system works. But I don't know how it will work. But yeah, I'm gonna let other people take that risk. Plenty of play. Like this is not a year where I'm like, okay, so Rashee Rice went pick 34 in this draft. He went pick 42 in this draft, and he went pick 35 in this draft. He's getting autoed sometimes, but it's not like I'm like, oh, I have to draft Sam Laporta, Oh, I have to gamble that Cooper Kupp is just healthy. Oh, I have to draft James Cook, Devonta Smith, Lamar, Jalen Hurts, Travis. Like these are players I want to draft. And so taking the gamble that Rashee Rice's legal situation works out does not seem appealing to me at all right now. I don't know what you're talking about in the chat, Al, because I watched the video without audio, but I believe you. Wow, guys, look at this. 102, 101, 101, 103, 102. What are the odds of that? Come on, there's got to be some mathematicians in here. All right, we're at the 4-5 turn here. James Cook, I like a lot. I mean, it could be for sure a league winner. We'll see what Buffalo adds in the draft. If they have someone like Trey Benson, not great, obviously, but seems pretty unlikely. And Zay. Zay versus Amari Cooper is interesting, but we'll go with the young guy in Zay. So I like this start a lot. It's unique. And it has players who could have great years, right? Like, no one's going to be surprised if Debo, Metcalf, and Flowers have good years. No one's going to be surprised if Kyron and James simply repeat their years last year. Let's go Bijan 102. I don't think I've ever had 5 drafts all be within like, and it makes multi-tabling this great, by the way, because you have a lot of downtime when you're on the turns. Let's go Diggs and see if we can get the Josh stack to fall to us. I like Acham too, but we will be trying to set up that stack with Jamar. Over here, let's go Kittle. I love getting elite tight end. Okay. Over here, let's go Hopkins and Ingram. And over here, let's go Hopkins again. We did get Josh. Sorry, that was a little chaotic. I was getting my I was gonna tweet on. All right. So to recap what we did there, we went Hopkins and Kittle for our Hurts Saquon stack. A fun stack. We went Hopkins and Ingram. I quite like Hopkins, right? Like I know Calvin's there, but I mean the dude had a great year last year, even as is, and he's kind of like one of the cheapest guys that you could still see having a solid year. And then we got Josh and Diggs over here. Hurts Saquon, unique too, Bindles. Fly fish, dude. They're taking all your luck and giving it to me. Good luck to you. Zeke and destroy. All right. Let's add Kittle and go Hopkins again. And I quite like when we reach on a guy like Kyron to go 101, I quite like going Debo and Kittle because we're directly leveraging off of CMC. We're gonna go Ayuk over here with our Bijan start. Again, we didn't take CMC. We're taking a Niner to leverage off of CMC. AKA, we hope that our player not only has a better year than the guy you took at 101, but if your player fails due to injury or whatever, or simply our player scoring points, we're benefiting off that in a great way. And let's do it twice again. Ayuk and Debo. So this guy reached on Hurts to get unique. Or maybe just because he wants Hurts. I've been drafting a lot of Hurts. I find his price, like, of course I take Josh, but his price seems pretty nice. We're kind of getting in that range where a lot of running backs go, which makes me especially like going like Hopkins there. Drafting a rookie running back is really just hoping you're drafting the Cowboys starter. So Warren does go right before us. That's a bummer. And I'm going to go Njoku and be done at tight end, especially when I'm multi-tabling. It's pretty nice to be done with some of the onesies. I just saw Hurts fall in the 5th in a draft. Yeah, I mean, all it takes is a couple people touting that let's go Trey McBride here. I like James Cook a lot, but I pair him with Josh a little too much. And they don't always positively leverage. Over here, think we'll go Njoku again. And I need to check over here. Javante's kind of boring compared to like a Trey Benson, but it could pay off. My second pick over here. Let's grab Trey Benson. Just hope he's the Cowboys starter. I could go Najee. I don't know. Going Josh Jacobs and Najee in the same draft is tempting the fantasy gods a little too much. So no quarterback over here. No quarterback on most of my teams, actually. All right, so we went Trey. And we're left with this. I think we'll go Keenan this time. I've not drafted a lot of Keenan. Seemed to make sense there to me. I think someone reached and grabbed Purdy. Yep. Dayuk drafter did not want me to get Purdy, which is fine. Any of these other quarterbacks make sense for me. Let's just go Zamir White. We'll figure out quarterback later on this team. We're double elite-ish price tight ends. I'm doing that on a lot of teams for now. Just removing the headache of having to think about it. Let's go Zay again. We're building a playoff best ball team right here. Is having Bijan, London, Pitts, and Kirk crazy? No. You can, especially with 20th rounds, you can get away with super stacking a team, and you can get paid off so many ways. When I click through, it's just I'm clicking to make sure I left my draft boards closed, because otherwise it doesn't click for me. So Trey goes. Kirk and Amari Cooper are like legacy picks for my channel here. They've been on a lot of my winning best ball teams. Rome, I also quite like. Today, we're going to go Kirk. BB Meat Gazer. This guy joined my Discord the other day. People quite liked it. Link to join the Discord is below. By the way, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Help me out. We're on the road to 5K. Not many people are giving you top level best ball analysis and doing 5 drafts at the same time. But BB Meat Gazer says, I'm really liking the way that lineup is coming together. I'm assuming you mean all 5, in which case, thank you. If you only mean 1 out of the 5, well, hey, 20%. Yeah, so I'm double tapping tight end on a lot of these teams just because I really like, almost every year late round tight end is solid, but this year I'm not feeling that fully. Past like Michael Mayer, you're rolling the dice on some of these guys. Okay, we're coming up on 2 of our drafts here. So pretty balanced team here. None of the quarterbacks make a ton of sense for us. We'll grab Lockett. Like Lockett is like boring, but just like Hopkins, he's a little too cheap to me. Okay, this is like the last of the maybe elite quarterbacks. in Daniels, so we're definitely taking Daniels and just hoping he runs the rock. And then, like these running backs, they're fine, but let's go Gabe. Let's go big game Gabe. Well, definitely taking Kincaid here. Again, double leading it. So we got the Josh Diggs Kincaid stack. Over here. Let's go Blake Corum. With Hurts, we want to push it. Okay, coming up on this team here. None of the quarterbacks make a ton of sense. Troy Franklin is in the mix to go end of round 1. So I like him. And let's take Jaden again. We're doing the Josh and Joe team over here. Joe Burrow is just too cheap. So we got no running backs on this team. Tight end done. Quarterback done. 3 stud wideouts. Over here, let's go Hopkins again. I like Hopkins more than these running backs of yesteryear. Have you done or planning to do the biggest board contest? Well, I'm mainly focused on the big board. I like to play the bigger ones, smaller buy-ins with bigger prizes. And if I get through that, which, these are my 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th drafts, so seems unlikely. Then, yeah, I'd entertain the biggest board, but mainly interested in just getting my big boards in right now. Okay. Let's go Ramondre. Bit of a reach. Ramondre over Aaron Jones, Kamara, but very similar. Ramondre's obviously got the age on his side. I guess I should throw Purdy in the queue just to remind myself. I don't really like to take Purdy at cost there compared to some of his peers for fantasy purposes, but he's also going to get dragged along by his skill players, so you kind of have to if you want to get the stack. Okay. Let's go Drake May. I don't really hate Rodgers either, but we for sure are not getting a Jet, it seems like. Here, I'm going to go Stafford and May. No, we're going to go actually Deshaun in May, I think. We're going to auto one down there. Need some running backs over here, so let's go Javante. We to go Drake. Deshaun's a guy who falls, but I don't know. This team really kind of needs the QB points. It has a double Cleveland stack. Let's go Jaleel. So we're going double Broncos running back. Javante, Jaleel. Seems like a team that's fine to get away with. Over here, we kind of need to make quarterback happen as well. So let's again go Drake and Deshaun. Okay. Let's go Trey. I just love the idea of getting the rookie RB1 in the 9th round, where, I mean, like, he would be the RB2 in his class if not for Brooks, but, maybe he's fast. I don't know. Not a lot to dislike until I see how the draft plays out. Stark Kindler saying I'm all the way out on Rodgers this year. Yeah, I mean, I don't draft him a lot, but I'm not going to be surprised if he has a fine year in fantasy. I mean, it's going to sound funny, but it was only a couple seconds that he played. He looked good. All right. He looked good. They invested in the O-line. They added Mike Williams. They're probably going to add some more talent on offense in the draft. Like, he's not going to be a consistent 25 point per game guy, but over here, might as well grab Purdy to go with this double San Fran stack in case a CMC drafter can grab Purdy sometimes. But yeah, I think he could have several 25 to 30 point games, just like he's always done. We are on the road to 5K. If you are not subscribed, please do so. You need to be subscribed to chat with us as well. I'd like to take Love. I drafted so much Love last year, just thinking he was too cheap. And it didn't really pay off until like late. But again, let's go Trey. How I feel today, or this point in the year, is that I feel like Trey is going to find a starting job. So our team so far, we got a Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Deshaun Watson team with CMC, Josh Jacobs, Trey Benson, Debo, T. Higgins, Amari Cooper, Hopkins, Gabe Davis, Evan Ingram, and David Njoku. We got a Hurts May team with Saquon, Javante, Blake Corum, Jaleel, CeeDee Lamb, Diggs, Flowers, Hopkins, Lockett, Kittle, Njoku. We got a Daniels May Watson team, this time with Kyron Cook, Zamir, Debo Metcalf, Flowers, Hopkins, Troy Franklin, Kittle, Njoku. We got Josh and Joe team with Javante, Benson, Chase, Diggs, Allen, McBride, and Kincaid. And then we have a Purdy, Bijan, Ramondre, Benson, Ayuk, Samuel, Flowers, Kirk, and Hopkins team We're about to be on the clock in like all of these. Okay. Let's go Daddle and Douglas over here. Let's go Algier over here. Let's go Xavier Leggett over here. Let's go Chase Brown with us having Joe Burrow over here. This is a chaotic section here. I like Michael Wilson, but this time we're going to go Roshan. It's like one of the last running backs in that tier for me. Over here, we want Algier. I guess Zay Flowers going to get cut because of legal issues. I mean, Zay Jones. Well, let's go Wandale. I go Douglas a lot more than Wandale, but arguably shouldn't. Like Wandale's probably a more talented player. Just seems like Douglas's touches seems very secure. So I'm grabbing one of these wideouts. I guess we'll grab Curtis. I don't love grabbing Curtis over some of these names, but one of the only ways to get that stack. And so now we have the three main Bills pass catchers, unless they add a rookie in the second round, and still they'd be in the mix. Now, this team, I really do like going Lockett because we have that Niner stack going. So adding a division piece, getting those two division games. How are you handling the Browns backfield? I like Ford. I've not drafted a lot of Chubb. I would grab Jaden Daniels quite a bit here, but let's go with Troy Franklin this time. Franklin's in the mix to be a Bills wide receiver, a Chiefs wide receiver. We could see the Chiefs adjust in the draft now and draft a wide receiver because of Rashee Rice. But yeah, I like Ford. I've not drafted a lot of Chubb, and I think Foreman's okay as a dart. I largely want to see, like, they seem like a team for sure that could add a Trey Benson in the draft, a Jonathan Brooks or whatever. And you could read the Foreman signing as like one of two ways. One way you could read it is it's great news for Nick Chubb. You let Ford and Foreman do the work. Let Chubb come back. Chubb comes back. He's a stud. You could also read it as Ford and Foreman, they just feel comfortable with. Two guys who can run the rock. If Chubb comes back, great. If not, whatever. So I'm reading it as Drake May I'm reading it as Jaden Daniels is going to be the commander pretty strictly because of Marcus Mariota being the backup. That's like, why would you sign Mariota, right? Like, you don't need to play mind games with the 101. We know the 101 is going Caleb Williams. So I'm just going to keep on adding to the running backs and wideouts here. Probably just at each pick, go running back, wideout, running back, wideout. Malachi Corley is in the mix to go pretty high in the draft. This team pretty much just needs, like a running back or two, but mostly wideouts. Let's go Devontae Walker, physical freak, I think. Little Corley over here for our first pick. And then let's add Audric Estime as our first roll of the rookie running back dice. Back on the clock over here. Let's again go Walker. And we're going to roll the dice on Keaton Mitchell. I don't know. I want to be into Keaton Mitchell. I really just don't know how it's going to play out health-wise for him. Let's go Ford. Ford should just not be in that tier of players, probably. Let's add Ray Davis over here. Another roll of the rookie running backs. Probably going to top out at 6 running backs. Add the rest. I feel solid at tight end. We're done at quarterback. I like my top end a wide out. I guess I could go 7 and 8 or 7 and 9. Yeah, I'll probably do that. Uh-oh. I think we autoed here. Okay, honestly, we autoed a solid player for the squad. Jalen Wright. He is like the rookie version of a McLaughlin, a Keaton Mitchell. And he works for this team. We didn't auto a position we don't need, which is good. Okay, we got no tight ends. We have no QB2. Another running back doesn't hurt either. Let's go Rodgers this time. Might be unstacked, but whatever. I still like his ability to give us some games. Let's go, no, let's go Mooney. I don't know. 600 yards, 5 touchdowns. That's what you're hoping from a Mooney pick. If they draft Rome Odunze, that's a death knell for Mooney. If they go edge rusher. How do you feel about Taysom Hill as a sleeper last pick? I don't know if you're the guy in my Discord who asked this the other day. But yeah, Underdog and most sites out there do not change positions of players. So Taysom Hill is a quarterback. So he's a terrible last round pick. Let's go Banacanda. Quite like rolling the dice on him. And Jaden Daniels, Drake May. Whatever. Let's just grab Darius Slay. And Darius Slay every year is a walking 700 and 3 to 4 touchdowns. And then I can either throw this last pick into running back or wide out. But yeah, so most sites, literally every site except one, does not change positions of players once you draft them for logical reasons. It undermines confidence in the contest, blah, blah, blah. I've not drafted on drafters, this yet, but I believe he is a tight end on drafters. On Underdog, though, he's a quarterback. So terrible, terrible last round pick. You will not get tight end points. Let me know what you guys think about this quintuplet draft. Something like BBM, we want to savor those. Those are one at a time type vibe. But big boards, we just got to get the volume in. All right, let's go Abanikanda again. Be done at running back over there. Let's go Sanders. We are going triple tight end when I probably don't need to be. But I kind of like the range of outcomes for Sanders. And then let's go Will Shipley. Rookie roll the dice. Over here, let's go Greg Dortch. Okay, so we do need some tight ends. Hunter Henry feels pretty solid as our tight end 1. We're probably just done at wideout. We're going to live with Ayuk, Samuel, Flowers, Kirk, Hopkins, Lockett, Franklin. And that will allow me to go maybe 4 tight end, 3 QB, 5 running back. It's a little thin. So maybe 3 tight end or maybe 2 QB. What's going on over here? This is our double Bills one. Let's go Kendry Miller. I don't have a lot of him. Back on the clock here. We're going Gibson because we took Rodgers, so getting a little division stack. We got the Ramondre Gibson pairing. Coming to the end of these drafts. I don't know if this is a joke or not, Grant. Yes, I've tried the FFPC. What up, Miles? How many drafts are you up to after you complete these 5? 30. These will be completing my 30th. Which I'll try to do batches of 5. Okay, our last pick over here. Probably should be a wideout. Let's go Brendan Rice this time. This time we're going to add Douglas. Makes sense with us having a Bill stack. Try to get a little Patriots bring back. Hopefully they get a quarterback upgrade. The running back room is like piecemealed together. It could work. I'm going to close them as I complete them, and then I'll recap all 5 at the end. You're welcome, Zap. Zap saying thanks for the info in regards to me. Saying positions don't change for players. Yeah, most sites have that in their rules. If you missed this stream, we pulled the 103 or higher for all 5 of our drafts. Pulled the 103 for our 5th for one of them, and then the other twos. One of them we reached to get unique, our Chiron team, taking Chiron at the 101. Which that one finished? I guess that was just a quick draft. Yeah, if you get in a draft with like people paying attention versus people autoing, the speed will be far different. Probably end this one with a wide out. Let's go Trey Tucker. Maybe the wide out 3 for the Raiders. Had a fine enough year last year. Chiron at the 101. People have said the same thing about CeeDee Lamb at the 101, right? You can't think of drafting 150 teams or a volume of teams as you should just do the same thing every single time, or at least you shouldn't. Well, this is great. We got Conklin here. So we're getting, I mean, a Hunter Henry Conklin room, pretty good at tight end, all things considered. What does this team need? Looks like wide out. Sure. We'll go Tyler Boyd, free agent Tyler Boyd. Over here, we're on the clock. We'll go Deshaun. We don't have any Browns there, so I don't really want to, but it does feel like that team needs a third quarterback. Here, let's go Corley. He's in the mix for that round 2 consideration. Or maybe this is my 31st. Xavier Gibson. Yeah, Xavier Gibson. I've mixed him in. The slot wide out for the Jets. Also the tall dude, I forget his name. But if you watch Hard Knocks, you would know that. Know that guy. So I'm pretty happy with how this tight end room's coming together for punting it off. Henry and Conklin are 2 dudes who, you know, they're never going to be top 5 tight ends, but we all know how they get there. They get, 600 yards. They get 6 touchdowns. There is a smidge of upside for Conklin with Rodgers playing the full year. I don't know much about Jalen Pope. Most of these other names I've heard. Sad Hyatt. We got Douglas, we got Curtis, we got Keenan. These are kind of like volume lower ADOT guys. Mooney and Hyatt, more of a down the field role. Works together contexture wise. Going to add probably 2 running backs. and one more wideout. So a 2792. Over here, we're done at QB. We will be adding a tight end, maybe two. Could go two tight ends and a running back and just live with our solid wideout room. You know, there's no CeeDee Lambs in here, but weeks from Ayuk, Samuel, Flowers, Kirk, Hopkins, Lockett, and a end of round one, top of round two, Troy Franklin. That can be enough. What number draft are you on? I'm finishing the stream for the day. Terrence, I just ripped 5. But we'll be doing another draft stream this week. We've been doing about 2 a week, usually one Monday, one. I want to have on Davis and Pat soon for our annual Dynasty heat check. So might do that soon. We're going to be adding a running back anyway, so let's take a Banacanda. Makes a lot of sense with us having Rodgers. Player I like gambling on anyways. Yeah, and I had thought Darren Waller officially retired. Like I saw that, and then I saw he's considering retirement. So I don't know what's going on there. If he's considering retirement, he's worth a gamble. If he's retired, he's decidedly not. So like Elijah Moore makes some sense with us having Deshaun, but we're instead going to go Foreman. Finish up our running back room. We'll add a third tight end and just hope we're getting enough at tight end. You know, like in theory, we have 3 quarterbacks that can give you 20 points any given week. Plus, we got enough fire at running back. We have, you know, like most people are probably adding another wideout here, but if everyone hits, stays healthy, this wideout room is solid. And then 2 tight ends we feel good about, and a third we're throwing a dart at. I could stop at 8 wideouts on this team and go 3 RB, but I might not. A lot of Banacanda. Today's a Banacanda day. Makes sense with the Josh team getting a division opponent. Running low on liquids after these 5 drafts. Let's go Evan Hull here. Evan Hull, either the RB2 for Indy or Pier 0. So at this point in time, I like to gamble on that. I've also gambled on the past of, like I was gambling on Zamir White this time last year. I gambled on Chase Brown. Doesn't always work out, but you can see when it does. Gambled on Kyron Williams at times. So one more pick in this draft, and we are done. Then I'll recap the teams and get out of here. You were in a draft with me on Saturday where you took McBride, Laporta, and Kincaid. Yeah, I'll sneak a couple of those in. Won't do it a lot, but not many people will. So we got the RB1, the Broncos, Benson, who hopefully is in the mix. So let's get our tight end here. Let's gamble on Greg Dulcich today. Could be a starter. Apparently we're at 31. I must have done one last night. While I wait for this draft to come back around, I'll recap what we did here. In our first one, we got a Hurts, May, Saquon, Javante, Blake, Jaleel, Algier, Ray Davis, a Banacanda team with Lamb, Diggs, Flowers, Hopkins, Lockett, Wandale, Devontae Walker, Greg Dortch, Trey Tucker, Kittle, Njoku. In this one, we went Daniels, May, Watson, CMC, Josh Jacobs, Benson, Dowdle, Mitchell, Shipley, Debo, Higgins, Cooper, Hopkins, Gabe, Douglas, Walker, Boyd, Ingram, Njoku, Sanders. We again went Daniels, May, Watson, Kyron, Cook, Zamir, Roshan, Estime, Abanikanda, Debo, Metcalf, Flowers, Hopkins, Troy, Xavier, Malachi, Slayton, Brennan Rice, Kittle, Njoku. And in this one, we went Purdy, Rogers, Watson, Bijan, Ramondre, Benson, Wright, Gibson, Abanikanda, Foreman, Ayuk, Samuel, Flowers, Kirk, Hopkins, Lockett, Franklin, Henry, Conklin, Dulcich. If you want to consider supporting the channel, consider becoming a YouTube member by clicking the join button below. You will also get access to a premium Discord channel to chat with me. Okay, our last team here. I mean, anytime you can go Slayton and Hyatt, two Giants wide receivers, you got to. How has that ever not worked in the past? So this team is Josh and Joe, Javante, Benson, Brown, Ford, Miller, Banacanda, Hull, Chase Diggs, Keenan, Samuel, Mooney, Douglas, Malachi Corley, Hyatt, Slayton, McBride, Kincaid. That concludes my drafts for today. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, leave a comment if you're watching this on YouTube later, or if you finish here, refresh, drop a fun comment. All of it helps. Thank you all. I'll be back later this week. Peace out.